Hold on to your hearts, because it's time for our first ever UTR Do-gooder Special, where we revisit some of our favorite philanthropists. We'll show you a league that's a miracle, people that are making reading a reality, and a basket full of food for hungry kids. We'll even show you why Fido truly is man's best friend. Get ready to meet some of the fine folks who make Michigan a great place to be a good deed doer.
Along the way is where we find the unexpected. Along the way is where we take in the scenery, and often where we have the most fun. Sure, along the way can be the place we stop to fill up or grab a bite to eat. But in Michigan, along the way becomes the place we've been longing for. Because enjoying the journey is always pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
There's something special about the pride, the skill, and the passion it takes to build something great. The Construction Association of Michigan, CAM, understands that passion and has been providing contractors with the resources they need since 1885. A visit to the Stalls Automotive Museum will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. In addition to beautiful cars, enjoy the collection of gas pumps, road signs, oil cans, and other car-related accessories. Info at stallsauto.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton, and this is Under the Radar, Michigan.
Let's face it, some people in the world need a helping hand. And this show gives a high five to those who go out of their way to help others, which in the long run makes a better life for all of us. So grab a hanky, because for the next 30 minutes, you're going to meet some people who are really making a difference. And the first one up is a real miracle.
You know, some people don't believe in miracles, but if you know anything about this organization, they make miracles happen all the time.
The Miracle League of Michigan is an Easter Seals program here in Southfield that gives kids with mental and physical challenges the chance to play baseball as a team member on a real organized league. A pretty simple thing that normally these kids would never get the chance to do. Steve Peck is the founder and director of the program, and one of the extraordinary and caring people who every summer helps bring a real sense of joy and accomplishment to these special young athletes.
Right here, Jack, coming at you. Yes! Nice shot!
You know, you don't realize how special this is till you actually come here and see it. I mean, for a lot of kids, to go out and play baseball, you just go out and play. But for these kids, this is really something special.
It sure is. I mean, it's the magic of the Miracle League. The children that play out here, the ones you see in wheelchairs or walkers, they want to play ball, just like any other able-bodied kid. But for far too long, their moms and dads have had to say, no, you can't do it, honey. So the magic is this synthetic rubber surface. So now you literally break through the barriers that prohibit them from playing. Wheelchairs and walkers can come out here and move very easily.
Well, I've heard the expression field of dreams a million times, but I never really, this is the first time I think it ever really applied to something for me personally.
For sure.
When I saw this and what it brings to these kids.
Well, the Miracle League is an appropriate name for what we do. Yeah. I mean, there are miracles that take place on this field. It's something I've always called a win-win-win. I mean, when we built this field 10 years ago, I knew that it would be a win for the kids that wanted to play but couldn't. What I didn't realize was the win that it was for the families, because, you know, my son was able to play Little League. I had that dream of my son playing Little League, but when their children were born, all of a sudden that dream went away. So now, as you look around our crowd, you see the parents out there. They're part of a Little League team. Their dream came true. And the final win is that the people from the community, the blue shirts, as we call them out here, our volunteers, well, they come out, they give back, and you know what they get out of being here.
Now, you don't have a special needs kid, do you?
I don't.
What makes you, this is wonderful what you do. What makes you do it?
I've always loved children. If I have one gift, it's being with kids, liking them, and them liking me. So when I learned of the very first field like this that was built back in the year 2000 in Conyers, Georgia, it was the only one in the country. It's a bunch of guys with a Rotary group that got together and said, this is wrong. Kids are watching from the wrong side of the fence. They need to get on the field. So I thought in this community of Southfield, Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, southeastern Michigan, we should be able to raise $1 million to bring this to our community. So we had to find the land first. The city of Southfield donated this property to us. And then we went out and we knocked on doors. We talked to businesses. Walmart and Sam's Club gave us $300,000 to make this dream a reality, so we're so grateful.
I mean, you guys do this how often? Is it all summer long? You guys have leagues here?
This is all summer. It begins in June, and we play 7 days a week. We've got games every single day. We've got double headers and triple headers on some of those days. We have an adult league. We have a competitive youth league. So we cover all the bases with the children that need.
You're doing so much good for so many of these kids. Everybody should come to one of these games and see this. It's pretty special.
Thank you very much.
Just spend an afternoon with these exceptional kids and their families, and you'll see what a miracle this league really is.
My name is Puggy, and I'm from South Lyon.
Awesome. You love playing baseball?
Yeah,
You a good hitter?
yeah.
Really?
Sometimes I need my dad to help me.
I bet you're better than me.
Yep.
You were a superstar out there today. You know that?
Yes,
What do you love about this league, playing in this league?
because baseball is a great game, and it's a very nice place to play.
It allows our kids that have special needs to be able to come out, be themselves, be able to be included in sports, and we love it.
You've got how many brothers and sisters playing in this league?
Well, there's 8 of us altogether, but only 5 of us play. But the others help out.
So it's a family affair.
Yeah, and my dad's the coach.
Your dad's the coach? I'll have to talk to your dad. He's doing a good job because you're a good player.
Thank you.
You got an agent?
No.
Here's my card. Tell me, is your dad a good coach?
Yeah, he is.
Really is? Are you saying that because he's standing right there?
Yeah.
At least they're honest.
These kids and their families were having so much fun that it got, well, kind of contagious. And when the coach called for a righty, I got my chance. I don't know what's more of a miracle, the Miracle League of Michigan, or the fact that I actually threw a hittable pitch. Well, actually, I do know. It's the Miracle League hands down. And as for me,
I got it. Don't worry about it. No!
I should probably stick to something I do well. As soon as I find it.
You know, it's easy to understand why reading is so important to young minds. It helps them grow, learn, and imagine. But as seeing isn't easy, it's easy to see how that could be heartbreaking for a young kid.
Well, fear not, my fellow empathists, because Seedlings Braille Books for Children in Livonia has opened a whole wonderful world of reading for kids everywhere. And they do it from the bottom of their helping hearts. It all started with Deborah Bondi and her insatiable need to help kids read.
I saw your map. I am amazed. You guys, here you are in Livonia, and you're shipping Braille books all over the globe.
We are. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I'd never thought that when I started it.
From your humble beginnings, how did this all start?
I was a person who really feels like it's our job on earth to help other people, but it didn't go with who I was because I was extremely shy. And usually when you're helping people, you have to talk to them, right?
Right,
So-
right. Even what I do is tough. I'm kind of shy, but it's, yeah, you sort of force yourself to follow your mission.
Well, I heard about Braille and I thought, oh, that's perfect. I can make books in my home by myself and send them off and help people, right? So I took the Braille class, and when I learned Braille, there were some other people there, including a mom of a blind child, and she mentioned that her daughter only had 2 books, and I thought, that's crazy. Why, you know? Sighted kids have hundreds of books usually in their home and in the library and whatnot. She only had 2. And I looked into it, I found out that Braille books were very hard to get and very, very expensive, like $100 for a Hardy Boys book.
For one book.
For one book. And that just didn't seem right to me.
Oh my gosh.
So I kind of thought maybe I should try to do something about that. But I just thought, you know, I want to do this. I want to make it a nonprofit organization so we can keep the prices as low as possible and even give books away, which is totally backwards. My dad started a company when I was little, and he actually made my first printer for this. But he said, Deb, you've got it all backwards. You're supposed to make a book for $10 and sell it for $20, not make it for $20 and sell it for $10, which is what we do. So,
well, hence the name nonprofit.
yes, exactly.
And now you've got how many people here working?
Well, we have about 10 staff and dozens of volunteers that help us keep our prices low, of course, and wonderful, wonderful supporters.
But what does this do for you personally?
Oh gosh, we all love doing this because the feedback is just tremendous. I mean, we've got so many people emailing us and calling us and telling us that they're so glad that they found us, that there just isn't much available out there, and that, especially at the prices that we have.
Well, thanks for what you're doing.
My pleasure.
It's a lot of work, I can tell. It's a lot of work.
A labor of love.
Yeah. Just how special is the world of reading for a kid? Well, I guess now would be the appropriate time to ask one. And Sarah Murphy is absolutely amazing. So you can read this book here in front of me.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Because I'm not the world's best reader, but I was hoping you could read something to me.
See, Charlotte's Web. Hey, that used to be my favorite.
Oh.
Where is Papa going with the axe? Said Fern to her mother as they were setting the table for breakfast. Out to the hog house, replied Mrs. Arable. Some pigs were born last night.
You read faster than I do.
Yeah. Some people say I can read 2 sentences at once, but it's pretty much 1.5.
Is learning to read Braille hard?
Oh my goodness, no.
Oh, good, then maybe I can do it. Heck, these kids are so smart. Even little Cara Gilmore types her own Braille.
So, if you were to write someone's name...
Oh, write my name, Tom.
You would use that 6TOM.
It's done. Did you write that on already?
Yes.
I should have had you write my books because they would have been done a lot faster if you did them. That's wonderful. And don't forget Caitlin Kalel. She actually grew up on Seedlings books and is now on their board of directors. What's amazing to me with these books, when I look at what you're reading, it's just a blank white page. But there's a whole world in there that you see that I don't see.
And that's one of the cool parts about being blind, is that we've got a great imagination and we've developed our senses greatly. So that's why especially exposure to Braille, even with our baby books, is very important, because we need to start developing those sensational touch skills at a very young age. So this is extremely important because not only does reading allow children to learn, it gives them a voice and it allows them to be able to master their language. And if they can't read, they can't write, and they won't be able to be successful down the road. So it's very important to get Braille materials into the hands of children across the country and around the world so that they aren't left behind, so they can continue to flourish and have the opportunity to be successful.
Everyone we encountered at Seedlings had a heart of gold and a wonderful story to be told about how they're changing and enlightening young lives. They've even given away half of the 500,000 books that they've made since 1984. So if helping kids discover the world around them is something that pulls your heartstring, get a hold of the fine folks at Seedlings Braille Books and find out how you can help. Because quite honestly, once you see what these great people are doing, you won't be able to help yourself. What kind of people spend hours working hard every day to help feed hungry kids? I'll tell you what kind of people. My kind of people. No matter where you live in the world, it seems there are always hungry kids not too far away. But thanks to one woman's dream and the hard work of dedicated and caring volunteers, that's changing real fast here in Grand Rapids. More than 10 years ago, Mary Kay Hoodhood heard a story, saw a need, and knew she had to do something about it. I'll admit it to you that when I read about what you guys are doing here, I got a little choked up. I mean, it's a simple concept, but to pull it off is a miracle.
It's sad when you start thinking about why we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, that there's so many people that can't stretch their dollars, that they can't feed their kids properly, and that's what's really heart-wrenching.
How did this whole thing start?
Well, I was working at our local soup kitchen, so I was in the business of feeding people. I know how to feed people. So I had a woman who was volunteering, packing groceries, telling me that when she was done volunteering, she was going to go over to the school on the west side where the principal had caught a little girl digging through the trash, asked her what she was doing, and she was looking for food. So this gal that was a volunteer was bringing juice boxes over to donate to the school. And at the point that I met her, at 3 schools, they could identify 125 kids that they knew were at high risk of not receiving an evening meal at home.
You're feeding how many kids now?
Close to 5,000.
5,000 kids don't go to bed hungry
Right.
anymore because of you. That's outstanding. I'm getting choked up again. You're
I
gonna make me
I know.
cry.
Well, you know, and the thing about it is, I know that when I go to bed at night, I know I did the right thing. But we're doing a great job and we know it. But there's still schools that we haven't been able to get money to feed them and access to nutritional food.
You know what else amazed me is when we came in here, all the volunteers that come in here and donate their time and work hours, help, you know, packing lunches, making food, because it's the right thing to do. And it's all because of you.
Well, I don't know about that. People always say to me, thank you for everything, you know, and I say, yeah, me and our army of volunteers, I mean, we couldn't do anything without our great people who donate money, donate their time, donate their talent. Couldn't do any of it.
You got the ball rolling, though.
Yeah, because I could not sleep at night knowing that there were kids going to bed hungry.
Bridget Clark Whitney is the executive director here, and she's a big reason why Mary Kay's small idea is making a huge impact in Grand Rapids. How long have you been with Kids Food Basket?
I've been with Kids Food Basket since September 2002. I was a senior in college. Mary Kay Hoodhood, our founder, she needed an intern. Really, she needed some free labor, and I needed an internship. So it was a perfect match, and we were able to work together that first year to create something that's both sustainable and makes an incredible impact every day.
Well, somebody said, I think I saw this on your website, that poverty is complicated, but feeding children is not.
Right.
And when you feed kids, they do better in school, they excel, it's better for their future, it's better for everybody's future.
Absolutely. You know, when we first started this program, we had no idea how large it would get. But throughout the very first few years, what we learned was the real scope of childhood hunger. And we've grown because the need has grown. In fact, it would have been irresponsible not to grow.
Where do you get all the volunteers that come in here?
We make it very easy to volunteer. Our philosophy here is that everyone wants to make a difference. Everyone wants to change the world, but so many people just don't know how. So at Kids Food Basket, our expertise is in community engagement. We are really good at it. Each and every weekday and weekend day, we have over 175 volunteers who come through our doors or do volunteer work off-site. And they're all taking time, an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes a few hours, to make sure that kids are getting the nutrition that they need for proper brain development. These are kids who may live next door that are simply not getting enough food on a day-to-day basis.
Where does all the food come from?
Yes, that's very important. So about 50 to 60% of our food comes from Feeding America. So if you're not familiar with Feeding America, those are the big food banks that exist around the country. The major food vendors are able to ship all of their food to Feeding America. So this is overstock, things that are close to being outdated, any sort of donations from the major food vendors. Then organizations like Kids Food Basket can purchase there for approximately 16 cents a pound. So we're able to get about 50 to 60% of what we need there. We also have many local food vendors, we have local farmers, and we have many food drives that are happening all over West Michigan for Kids Food Basket.
It's a pretty striking image when we first came in here to see an assembly line of people who just care, who are volunteering to help feed kids. That's pretty impressive.
It's really magic. I mean, it makes a huge impact every day.
And there should be a Kids Food Basket in every town.
There should be, and we're hoping that that's one of our pieces of our vision.
Get to work.
Thank you.
I tell you, being at Kids Food Basket is truly a wonderful experience. You can't help but feel good about what's happening here. And another cool thing is that local students decorate most of the sack dinners that go out to kids in need with personal notes of kindness. So it really is a true community effort. If this doesn't make you feel Michigan proud, I can't think of anything else that would. Now, if you've got any doubts that dogs are man's best friend, you need to watch this. When it comes to empowering blind and visually impaired people, Leader Dogs for the Blind in Rochester Hills is literally leading the way. Their canine companions are giving people around the world a better quality of life through independent travel. After an awesome tour of their entire facility, and of course some playtime with some of the future Leader Dogs, I sat down with Rod Hanline. Rod totally personifies the passion that makes Leader Dogs such an incredible organization. Give me a sense of the history of this place.
Well, this is our 75th year of existence, and it started with some people who had a dream, some Lions, and they saw a need for just a few individuals that wanted to get guide dogs and couldn't get them from somewhere else, and so they put a stake in the ground and said, you know what, we can do this.
Well, what amazes me about Leader Dogs for the Blind is, I mean, it's one location right here in Rochester Hills, but you reach people all across the globe.
We do, and our international reach used to be much larger. But as time has gone on, smaller countries in different places overseas, such as Israel and in Europe, they've gone out and started their own schools. And in some of those cases, we've been instrumental in helping them get started.
Now, explain quickly. Now, so we know the dogs they're bred here, and then they spend a year growing up, either with a family or an inmate. Then explain the process here. Then what happens? They come back here for schooling?
They come back here for schooling. In essence, they come back here and they go into elementary school, and we push them right into junior high and high school and college.
And they're trained with trainers in town?
Trained with trainers in not only here, but Royal Oak, Birmingham, Detroit. Any possible environment, we try and duplicate it here.
Now, the dormitories here that's the part I'm fascinated with. People actually come here from, let's say, South America, from Europe, to meet, and they live here with their dog?
They live here for 26 days. That's correct. And in that 26 days, every single day is structured with what environments we're going to travel. And there's lectures, there's learning series, there's a lot going on in that 26 days.
Yeah, what you guys do for the entire world is incredible, but you couldn't really do it without your volunteers, could you?
No, we could not do it without volunteers. Every aspect of this is dependent on volunteers, from the puppy raiser to the host that keeps the breeding stock in their homes, to the folks who come into the kennel here and give of their whole day, right down to the folks up in the administrative area that file papers. You can't run an organization of this size without a huge cadre of dedicated, passionate volunteers.
Yeah, just walking through the building, everyone I've met has this sparkle in their eye. It's like they love what they do, they love the dogs, and it means so much. You're changing people's lives.
They truly believe in what they're doing, and I don't think anyone's here for the paycheck. We're a nonprofit, and they walk in the door because they love what they do.
Another absolutely amazing thing about Leader Dogs is that thanks to the generosity of their supporters, all their programs are provided absolutely free to those who qualify. How has the Leader Dog program changed your life?
Oh my gosh. Everybody here, prior to coming to Leader Dogs, I had tried to get help from my home state, the Commission for the Blind, and other places, and so many doors shut. I mean, they said that I would have to have this training before this, and I would have to go here before they could help. And Leader Dogs, it was never a matter of doors closing, it was always, when can you come, or do you want to come?
I mean, yes, you can get around with a cane, and I've done it for a while, and you can get there, but not nearly as safely. And the most rewarding thing in my life was this lady wanted to pet my dog at work. And I said, no, I have to take the harness off. The next thing I knew, I was walking down the aisle, and I was saying, I do, and she said, you better.
That's a great story. As a special treat, trainer Jamie Togel and my new pal Stormy had me strap on a blindfold to really experience the incredible difference these dogs can make in someone's life.
Your entire job during this experience is simply to follow the dog. When he stops, you stop. When he moves, you move with him.
Trust the dog. Completely trust the dog.
Okay, I am ready. Should I be muzzled?
You're good to go.
Okay. Stormy, forward.
Very good. Follow him. He's going to lead you around some obstacles.
We went around obstacles?
You sure did. You don't feel it?
No.
But there they are.
Seriously?
Very good. Yes. If the work goes well, you'll never know you passed them.
Wow.
Good boy.
The experience both covered and opened my eyes to how amazing this organization really is.
How am I doing, Stormy? Do I get a treat?
You get a treat to give to Stormy.
Oh.
How's that sound?
Right. Hey there. Want to know more about all the great places we go on the program? Just go to our website. You can watch episodes, tell us where to go, jump to our Facebook page, and even buy a hat like mine. So just go to utrmichigan.com. That's utrmichigan.com. Go now. Or now.
Along the way is where we find the unexpected. Along the way is where we take in the scenery, and often where we have the most fun. Sure, along the way can be the place we stop to fill up or grab a bite to eat. But in Michigan, along the way becomes the place we've been longing for. Because enjoying the journey is always pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
There's something special about the pride, the skill, and the passion it takes to build something great. The Construction Association of Michigan, CAM, understands that passion and has been providing contractors with the resources they need since 1885. A visit to the Stalls Automotive Museum will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. In addition to beautiful cars, enjoy the collection of gas pumps, road signs, oil cans, and other car-related accessories. Info at stallsauto.com.